Chapter 23-21. President 3. Yi Qingtang nodded. Wu Fengling smiled. It is the Netherworld Academy's honor to have a teacher like you. You have produced a good child. Yi Qingtang lowered her eyes, a smile flashing across her pupils. She was well aware of how good her own brats were. Upon hearing Wu Fengling praise Yi Qing, when she felt very happy as he said, "That's not all. I heard that Mu Xing has also risen to the Divine Lord stage. Yi Qing has produced 2 Divine Lord level students." "Oh, really?" Wu Fengling's eyes brightened when she had heard of this from Luo Shang. Before the smiles on the faces of those 2 men had finished forming, the teacher in charge of the matches cleared his throat. "Ahem, not just those 2. Lei Yin, Nangong Lai, and Jing Zhe have all ascended to the Divine Lord stage also." Both Wu Fengling and Wen Qi looked astounded. 5 Divine Lord stage practitioners. As well-traveled as Wu Fengling was, he had never met anyone who could produce so many Divine Lord stage students over such a short period of time. Wen Qi's eyes widened in disbelief. 5. Did he hear correctly? Hang Wenwei, Gong Jinyun, and a few others were defeated. 2 of them even had to be carried off. The teacher in charge continued. Hang Wenwei and the others who had been named sheepishly hid in the crowd. Damn, they have really been humiliated today. In the next moment, the faces of the president and vice president shifted. They looked at Yi Qing with complicated expressions. "We will count this match as a draw. It will never end if we let it continue. And if either of them suffers grievous injuries, it will affect our chances at the Inter-Academy competition. That would then be a major loss," Wu Fengling announced. Given that the president had spoken and declared the match a draw, for the first time in the history of the Netherworld Academy, there were 2 students ranked number 1. Ranimo didn't mind. Qin Feng looked at Yi Qing and saw that he didn't have any reaction, and so he agreed. Observing Qin Feng's actions, Wu Fengling couldn't help feeling amused. This kid would continue fighting if his teacher disagreed? The thought amused Wu Fengling greatly. "Your teacher is very good. Don't waste his teaching efforts," Wu Fengling said. Qin Feng, Lei Yin, and the others nodded. As long as one praised their boss, they would agree to anything. Yi Qingtang didn't know whether to laugh or cry at those little brats. But her heart felt warm. It was getting late, and the selection trials were over for the day. Di Nuo had already snuck off when no one was paying attention. Surrounded by her students, Yi Qingtang and her group prepared to leave, but Wu Fengling called her back. "Yi Qing." "Yes, President." Yi Qingtang looked at Wu Fengling and Wen Qi. "If you're not busy, please come with me. I have something to discuss with you," Wu Fengling said. Yi Qingtang nodded and had her students go back to rest first. She would join them for a celebration after she finished her discussion with Wu Fengling. Yi Qingtang followed Wu Fengling and his group back to the president's room. After entering the room, Wu Fengling invited them to sit down. "Yi Qing, amongst your students, Yin Shun is the only one who has yet to be selected for the Inter-Academy competition. But I heard from the medicine faculty that under your guidance, Yin Shin's elixir refining skills have improved tremendously. I think there shouldn't be an issue tomorrow. You have done very well and groomed several exceptional students for the Netherworld Academy. As the president, I must thank you," Wu Fengling said with sincerity. Chapter 23-22. President 4. President, you are too kind. I'm only doing what I should be doing. Those kids have always had pretty good potential. They deserve their current achievements. Like that, the 16-year-old Yi Qingtang called the 17-year-old Qin Feng and the others kids without any hesitation. "I heard Wen Qi say that you have a very unique view toward martial arts. I also observed Qin Feng's moves earlier. You seem to have made quite a number of adjustments to the techniques." Wu Fengling asked. Yi Qingtang nodded. Wu Fengling continued. "It will be the Inter-Academy competition in just a few months. For the past few competitions, our Netherworld Academy did not do too well. As the president, I feel very guilty over this. But now, you have given me hope." Yi Qingtang's sharp instincts detected the underlying meaning behind Wu Fengling's words. Wu Fengling went on. "There are still a few months left until then. I wonder if you're interested in teaching a few students?" It was then that Wu Fengling finally revealed his intentions. Yi Qingtang looked at Wu Fengling with a strange expression. I'm not that skilled, and there isn't much time left. I am afraid, Wu Fengling waved. Do not worry about that. As long as you do what you can, that is more than enough. Moreover, you hadn't taught Qin Feng and the others for very long, and the results are already very good. The Netherworld Academy needs a teacher like you. I wonder if you are willing to do this for the Netherworld Academy. Yi Qingtang was somewhat hesitant. Her goal was just to make use of the wind-calming pearl to leave this mainland. Qin Feng and the others managed to improve so rapidly, partly because they had cultivated in the secret room in the Fiend Celestial's tomb. Otherwise, they would not have progressed at such terrifying speeds. However, Yi Qingtang found it difficult to refuse Wu Fengling. This was a president who was willing to sacrifice his own life for his students. He deserved everyone's respect. Thinking of how Wu Fengling would have to face his fate in the future, Yi Qingtang couldn't help lamenting over it. If she could produce more exceptional teenagers, would they be able to overcome that future catastrophe? Yi Qingtang remained silent for a moment. Many powerful factions had indeed been coming in and out of the Fiend Celestial's tomb over the recent period. It was impossible for her to bring another batch of students into the tomb to cultivate. But her martial arts knowledge from her previous life could help some of the students become stronger. Although they would not be able to break through to the next stage, they could still improve by quite a bit. They could be like Qin Feng, able to challenge an opponent who had a higher cultivation level than him. This was the outcome of the future changes in the practice of martial arts. I can try, but I cannot guarantee the results. And I have one condition. I cannot teach too many people at one time, so you cannot give me too many students. Moreover, while I am teaching, no other teacher is allowed to interfere with my methods, and the students also have to adhere to my arrangements. Otherwise, I will have no choice but to decline your offer. Yi Qingtang spoke very frankly. She was willing to contribute to the academy, but she had her limits. Wu Fengling appeared very satisfied with her words. I agree to all of your terms. Later on, I will send those students over. Don't worry, I will limit the number to about 6 or 7, or maybe even less. Qin Feng and the others will remain your core students. If you find that any one of the students is not suitable, you can refuse to accept them. As Wu Fengling was giving Yi Qingtang a very high degree of autonomy, Yi Qingtang was able to accept it with peace of mind. Chapter 23-23 New Students Report 1. After Yi Qingtang left, Wu Fengling looked at Wen Qi, who could not conceal his own wide smile. How about that? I have brought you a real treasure this time, right? Wu Fengling smiled. Indeed, you have good judgment. Wen Qi raised his brows smugly, and he had every right to feel smug. To be able to produce 5 Divine Lord Stage students within just a few months. Who could claim to have that ability? After today's selection trials, news of Yi Qing, Qin Feng, and the others spread across the entire Netherworld Academy. Everyone was discussing them, even those who had not gone to watch the matches. After knowing that even students like Lei Yin and Jing Zhe had become Divine Lord Stage practitioners, quite a few students clenched their fists with such intense envy that they nearly crushed the edges of the table. Why didn't they have the good fortune to meet such a teacher? But very soon, someone spread the news that the president had decided to pick a few more students to be under Yi Qing to undergo special training for the Inter-Academy competition. Naturally, only the top 50 would have that honor. Another wave of jealousy washed over the student body. They felt angry at themselves for not working harder to squeeze into the top 50. Meanwhile, those top 50 students were on cloud 9, all waiting to see if they would be one of the lucky ones. 5 Divine Lord Stage practitioners. What kind of effective rate was that? If they could train under Yi Qing, wouldn't they soon ascend to the Divine Lord level 2? That night, Yi Qingtang was celebrating with Lei Yin and the rest, drinking wine and eating roast meat when Luo Sheng hurried over with a few teenagers. Yi Qingtang, greetings, teacher Yi. Ran Mo grinned as he bowed respectfully at Yi Qing. His neck was still bandaged. Qin Feng, greetings, teacher Yi. The student formerly ranked number 8, Qiu Nan, also bowed shyly. Jingze, greetings, teacher Yi. Gong Jinyan couldn't conceal his smile. He gave a deep bow. Nan Gonglai, greetings, teacher Yi. Hang Wenwei was smiling radiantly. Before even finishing his greeting, he was already bowing down low. Lei Yin exclaimed, "Damn, what's going on? Have you all come for revenge?" No, no, no. Brother, you misunderstand. We have come to pay respects to our new teacher. From today onwards until the end of the inter-academy competition, we will be brothers under the same teacher. In future, we will all be under teacher Yi. Hang Wenwei explained with a smile. Lei Yin was stunned. Qin Feng and the rest were also stupefied. Apart from Meng Yao, who was not qualified, and Qin Xian, who had been beaten to a pulp, all the other teenagers who had sparred with Yi Qingtang's brats today had been sent over by Luo Sheng. Teacher Luo Sheng. Yi Qingtang looked at Luo Sheng. Was this what she thought it was? As Hang Wenwei said, we will have to trouble you to teach them during this period. Luo Sheng smiled. Yi Qingtang, Luo Sheng added. Of course, if you're not satisfied, you can decline to teach them. We will choose others. Wu Fengling had selected these few because they had sparred with Yi Qing's students. Yi Qing must have watched the matches and would have a good understanding of their skills. Yi Qing remained silent. Hang Wenwei and the others knew that their fate lay entirely in Yi Qing's hands, and they immediately begged to be accepted. Teacher Yi, I have always admired your teaching. Please accept me. I will be hard-working and will not let you down. Gong Jinyan put on a pleading look. Hang Wenwei was even more ingratiating. He poured a cup of tea and kneeled in front of Yi Qing. Master, please have this tea. Chapter 23-24. New Students Report 2. Yi Qingtang, seeing Hang Wenwei's antics, Ran Mo and Xiao Nen hastily snatched a cup each and fell on their knees before Yi Qing. Even Gong Jinyan did the same. They were now all kneeling in a neat row. There was a saying that one could never bear to slap a smiling face. By putting up this reverent display, they believed teacher Yi would never ask them to get lost. Yi Qingtang felt a headache coming on. In reality, she could teach anyone. These students all had good potential and characters, and so she had no objections to them. But before Yi Qingtang could say anything, Lei Yin and the rest were up in arms. Master? You can't just go around acknowledging anyone as your master. This is our boss. When did he become your master? Get lost now. Money, land, and women. These are the things people usually try to snatch or steal. But never had they heard of someone trying to snatch other people's teachers. These guys were really shameless. Don't be like that. Brother, we are one big family from now on. Hang Wenwei grinned. Who's a family with you? You lost to me. Get lost now. Lei Yin refused to budge. They would never share their boss with anyone. Despite the derogatory treatment, those new students did not show any signs of anger. Instead, they continued smiling. Yes, we have all lost to you. That's why we have come to seek your teachings with humble hearts. Lei Yin had always prided himself on his thick skin, but now he finally knew what it meant when they said that there would always be someone better than you. These guys had even thicker skins than him. I object, Lei Yin hollered. Hang Wenwei looked at the raging Lei Yin and added, It doesn't matter if you object, as long as teacher Yi doesn't. Lei Yin, standing by the side, Qin Feng looked at Ran Mo with a strange expression. He could understand why the others had come, but Ran Mo was the personal disciple of Wu Fengling. Why was he here? Ran Mo noticed Qin Feng's look and smiled, revealing the whites of his teeth. I have always been a nomad student. Wu Fengling was the president of the Netherworld Academy and was very busy. When Ran Mo first joined the academy, Wu Fengling had spent more time teaching him. But thereafter, he would just impart a set of techniques to Ran Mo and then meet up again about half a month later to see how Ran Mo had progressed and offered some more pointers. Wu Fengling was often not around, and Ran Mo had to seek guidance from other teachers instead. So it was apt to call him a nomad student. Qin Feng, boss, aren't we enough for you? Why do you have to take in others? Are we unable to satisfy you? Lei Yin gazed tearfully at Yi Qing, hoping that he would change her mind. Yi Qingtang, what did he mean by unable to satisfy you? Someone please shut his mouth. Luo Sheng was rather amused by the scene. Yi Qing, I will hand these little scamps over to you then. You can decide whether you want to keep them. Without waiting for Yi Qing to reply, Luo Sheng quickly turned and left. In this kind of situation, it was better to leave it to them to settle amongst themselves. He wanted no part in it. Like that, Luo Sheng left, but Ran Mo and the rest remained. Lei Yin and the others looked very aggrieved. This was supposed to be a happy dinner celebration. With the sudden appearance of so many love rivals, they had all lost their appetite. There was no choice, the decision laid in Yi Qing's hands. Even if Lei Yin and the rest were desperate to toss Ran Mo and the rest far away, they had to listen to their teacher's wishes. Likewise, Ran Mo and his group knew that their fate now rested on Yi Qing's decision. Chapter 23-25, New Students Report 3. The atmosphere had turned very awkward. 10 pairs of eyes were now all fixed upon Yi Qingtang. Boss, teacher. Yi Qingtang looked at the anticipatory gazes of those two groups of brats, and she quietly sat down on a chair. Just as everyone felt that Yi Qing had made his decision, he suddenly lifted a pair of chopsticks. Have you guys eaten? If not, sit down and eat with us. Everyone, Hang Wenwei and the others were filled with hope at his words. They immediately bustled over and sat as close to Yi Qing as possible. In fact, the four of them took up the 4 closest seats to Yi Qing, completely surrounding him. Lei Yin, Nangong Lai, and the rest fumed at the sight. What a bunch of vixens. Boss had yet to officially become their teacher, but they were already angling to be his favored pets. The burning desire to drive out those little vixens raged in the hearts of those teenagers. Without another word, they pulled Mu Ziying off her seat. Mu Ziying had been sitting at the table with her chopsticks raised, ready to continue eating. Mu Ziying, she was hungry. Lei Yin and the others didn't care. They forced Mu Ziying into Yi Qing's arms, before shooting Hang Wenwei and his gang smug looks. Vying to be the teacher's pet? Their little senior sister had never lost. Meanwhile, Mu Ziying herself was bewildered. She sat on Yi Qing's lap with a dazed look. Hang Wenwei and the others remained silent. Damn, they had no females in their group. They couldn't use this trick. Yi Qingtang was getting a headache from the antics of those brats. Looking at the dazed Mu Ziying, who was still pitifully clutching her own chopsticks, Yi Qingtang decided to ignore the rest. So she picked up some food to feed Mu Ziying. The bickering continued throughout the entire dinner. If not for Yi Qingtang keeping the peace, the table might have already been smashed into two by those hot-blooded males. Whenever Yi Qingtang finished eating, her bowl would be snatched away and piled high with food again. The entire time, Yi Qingtang didn't mention her decision whether to keep them, but this meal sparked off hope in the hearts of Hang Wenwei and the rest. They all took it as a sign that they could stay. Although Yi Qingtang did plan to teach them, she had no intention of becoming their official teacher. After all, she would not be staying for long in the Netherworld Academy. She would leave after the inter-academy competition. Hang Wenwei and his group were different from Lei Yin and the others. They each had their own teachers. After she left, they would have to return to their own teachers. She had agreed to Wu Fengling's request because she respected him and because she wanted to secure a future for Lei Yin and the others. In the future after she left, she believed that Wu Fengling would remember her favor for him and choose good teachers for her students. Then she would be able to leave in peace. Of course, Lei Yin and the others had no idea of all that. Amongst Yi Qingtang's students, only Yun Shun had yet to undergo the selection trials. The next morning would be the selection for the medicine faculty. The medicine faculty's selection trial was different from the other faculties. They did not compete using weapons, nor did they have to battle on the platform. They competed using their elixir refining skills. The next morning, Yi Qingtang led Yun Shun and the rest to the site of the medicine faculty trials. Lei Yin and the others had completed their own trials, but all of them still showed up today to cheer for Yun Shun. Even Hang Wenwei and his group followed close behind, completely ignoring the derisive looks of Lei Yin and the rest. As this big group swaggered over, they attracted quite a bit of attention from the medicine faculty students. Chapter 23-26. Medicine Faculty 1. Jinyan, why are you here? One of the female students from the medicine faculty was surprised at the sight of Gong Jinyan amongst the group. These were the selection trials of the medicine faculty. Students from the other faculties would usually not come to watch. After all, those other students would not be able to understand what was going on during the medicine faculty trials anyway. I came over to take a look. Gong Jinyan scratched his head bashfully as he answered the teenage girl. Curiosity rose in the hearts of the rest as they observed the interaction between Gong Jinyan and the girl. Who is she? Gong Jinyan's girlfriend? Nangong Lai asked Hang Wenwei. Hang Wenwei replied, she is Yusiki. She is Gong Jinyan's alchemist partner. Most of the martial arts students in the academy would form partnerships with the medicine faculty alchemist so that they could ensure a steady supply of elixirs. The more powerful martial arts practitioners would be able to choose the more talented alchemists as their partners. Hang Wenwei and his group were in the top 10, and so their alchemist partners would definitely also be amongst the top. When Lei Yin and the others first came to the medicine faculty, they had also wanted to find some medicine faculty students to be their partners. But they were utterly scorned. No one was willing to even glance at them. But now Qin Feng. A voice suddenly called out. Everyone turned to see a tall, slender youth with imperious features strolling over. Several medicine faculty students were tagging along behind him. Is that Song Yanhan? Lei Yan's eyes brightened at the sight of the newcomer. Who is Song Yanhan? Jing Zhe asked. Lei Yan replied in a low voice. You don't even know Song Yanhan? I say, senior brother. Do you know nothing about the other faculties aside from your own? Jing Zhe nodded honestly. Lei Yan held his forehead in exasperation. Song Yanhan is the top alchemist in the medicine faculty. I heard that his elixir refining skills are even better than most of the teachers in the faculty. I am sure that you know our academy once produced a Grandmaster Alchemist. There are rumors that Song Yanhan might become the second legendary figure to come out of our medicine faculty. Lei Yan had been extremely ignorant when he first entered the academy. After hearing about alchemist partners and Song Yanhan's reputation, he had rushed over to the medicine faculty, asking to be his partner. In the end, he had been kicked out of the faculty grounds before he could even come face to face with Song Yanhan. Thereafter, Lei Yan realized that an alchemist of Song Yanhan's level was widely admired, not just within the academy, but even on the outside. He had countless practitioners who hoped to obtain elixirs from him. There have been many elite students who wished to be partners with Song Yanhan, but they were all rejected. The only one who caught Song Yanhan's I was Wu Fengling's personal disciple, Ran Mo. But with Wu Fengling as his master, there was no need for Wu Fengling to partner with an alchemist. As a result, Song Yanhan had no partner. Song Yanhan's sudden appearance now had many people confused. In response, Qin Feng glanced at Song Yanhan, the questioning in his eyes apparent. Song Yanhan's expression was cold and his attitude arrogant. He only looked at Qin Feng and ignored the others. It will be the inter-academy competition in a few months. I don't have any martial arts partner, Song Yanhan said. Chapter 23-27. Medicine Faculty 2. Qin Feng frowned slightly. Everyone else was stunned by Song Yanhan's words. Damn, is Song Yanhan planning to partner with our Qin Feng? Lei Yan immediately sensed the underlying meaning behind Song Yanhan's words. The inter-academy competition did not only pit individual students against each other. There was another somewhat strange rule that one had to compete in teams. A martial arts practitioner had to team up with an alchemist. Usually, Song Yanhan would never partner with any of the other students from the academy. It seemed that for the inter-academy competition, he decided to put down his pride and accept a martial arts practitioner into his team. This was the instruction of Song Yanhan's teacher. After all, no matter how high level an alchemist was, there would be times when he would need someone with physical prowess. Song Yanhan's words raised a commotion. Even the eyes of Hang Wenwei and his group lit up. They gazed at Qin Feng with admiration. Qin Feng is so lucky to be able to partner with Song Yanhan. That's Qin Feng you're talking about. He stands shoulder to shoulder with Ran Mo as the two most powerful students in the academy. Why else do you think Song Yinhan would choose him? Sigh. If only I was more powerful. I also want such a high-level alchemist. Elixirs were very important to martial arts practitioners. Finding a suitable alchemist was like adding wings to a tiger. For a high-level alchemist like Song Yinhan, it was only natural that many people wanted him as their partner. He was still young, but his elixir refining skills were already top-notch. It was almost certain that he would become a master alchemist after leaving the Netherworld Academy. It was just a matter of time. Perhaps he could even become a grandmaster. It would be perfect if one could establish close ties with him while still in the academy. Wait a minute. We already have Yin Shun. Lei Yin suddenly realized an issue. Their boss knew how to refine elixirs, but after teaching Yin Shun, Yi Qing passed on all the elixir refining duties to him. As a result, all the elixirs they had been using were all refined by Yin Shun. It could be said that Yun Shan was their shared alchemist. Lei Yan's words attracted the attention of Hang Wenwei and the rest. They all stared at Lei Yan with incredulous eyes. It was true that Yun Shan was from the medicine faculty, but if they remembered correctly from a few months ago, Yin Shun could barely refine half an elixir. Meanwhile, what level was Song Yinhan at? This was a teenager who stood right at the top of the medicine faculty. Could these two be compared at all? Even a fool knew who Qin Feng should choose. Song Yinhan seemed to have heard Lei Yan's words. He casually glanced at Yin Shun. Both of them were from the medicine faculty. How could he possibly not know of Yin Shun? This useless piece of trash who could barely refine a single elixir. Elixirs are very important to a martial arts practitioner. Not all elixirs refined by an alchemist are safe to be consumed, Song Yinhan said. The hidden meaning behind his words was clear to Nangong Lai and the others. Their faces instantly darkened. Was he saying that Yun Shen's elixirs were not safe for consumption? Song Yinhan didn't intend to say too much to Qin Feng. He had heard of what happened yesterday and knew that the powers of Qin Feng and his group had increased tremendously, and their teacher was that youth standing behind them. Song Yinhan walked over to Yi Qing. Teacher Yi, Qin Feng and the others are your students. As they will be representing the Netherworld Academy in the Inter-Academy competition, this concerns the very reputation of our academy. Chapter 23-28 Medicine Faculty 3 Song Yinhan lifted his hand slightly, and the medicine faculty students behind him stepped forward. These are the alchemists from our medicine faculty. Even the lousiest of them is at least a mid-grade alchemist. Teacher Yi, none of your students have official alchemist partners. Today, I have brought them along to partner with your students so that we can contribute our best efforts for the academy in the Inter-Academy competition. Song Yinhan's words sounded noble, and there was actually nothing wrong with his way of thinking. However, he had purposely ignored Yin Shun from the beginning to the end. It was like he had never heard what Lei Yin said earlier about Yin Shun being their alchemist. Yi Qingtang looked at the arrogant Song Yinhan without any expression before she turned toward Yin Shun. As always, Yin Shun had his usual nonchalant smile. But that smile stung Yi Qingtang's heart. Having one's martial arts practitioner snatched away by another alchemist right in front of him was a great humiliation. It was a complete disregard for his elixir refining skills. Only an alchemist with a much higher skill level would dare to do this. No need. Qin Feng and the others already have an alchemist partner. There was no way Yi Qingtang would allow any one of her little brats to be derided in this manner. Song Yinhan was taken aback by Yi Qing's words. He never expected her to reject him. It should be pointed out that countless martial arts students wished to be his partner. Even their teachers had personally stepped forward to persuade him, but they were all rejected. Today, he had taken the initiative to offer this partnership, only to receive such a response. Song Yinhan instinctively glanced at Yin Shun. Teacher Yi, don't tell me that Yin Shun is the alchemist you're talking about. Yes, Yi Qingtang replied. Ridicule flashed across Song Yinhan's eyes. It is natural that you wish to promote your own student, but it is not right for you to drag down everyone else just for the sake of one person. Don't you know what kind of help an exceptional alchemist can bring to a martial arts practitioner? Song Yinhan continued unabashedly. In the past, Yin Shun could barely refine anything. Although he can produce some elixirs now, it is not enough. Teacher, you might be good at teaching martial arts, but elixir refinement is an entirely different matter. I hope that you won't implicate others for your own selfish needs. To the medicine faculty, they didn't care how many divine lord-level students this teacher Yi had produced. Alchemy and martial arts were two different domains. The elixir refinement skills of even an emperor-level practitioner would be inferior to that of an elementary stage alchemist. I heard that you implicated all your students in one of your personal vendettas. You are only protecting Yinshen like this because you are worried you would lose your bet if he doesn't pass the selection trials. Teacher Yi, you might be their teacher, but you cannot be so selfish. Song Yinhan looked at Yi Qing without an ounce of respect in his eyes. His tone was scornful and derisive. It was apparent that Song Yinhan didn't believe anyone would reject his offer. The only reason could be that Yi Qing wished to promote his own student. With such a narrow mindset, wasn't she just holding back Qin Feng and the others? The faces of Qin Feng and the others instantly darkened on hearing Song Yinhan's disgusting words. Chapter 23-29, Trust 1. I don't think that Yunshun is inferior to the other medicine faculty students, Yi Qingtang replied in a mild tone. She had taught him herself and was well aware of his skill level. Song Yinhan and all the other medicine faculty students were stunned by Yi Qing's claim. Yunshun was not inferior to them. Was teacher Yi a fool? Some of the medicine faculty students had come over just to watch a good show. But now, they couldn't help feeling somewhat speechless. Is this teacher joking? What kind of standard is Yunshun? He must be joking. This teacher is new and has only been here a few months. He majors in martial arts. Why in the world was Yunshun assigned to him? What? A martial arts teacher teaching elixir refinement? Are you kidding me? Can he refine elixirs? Does he know what alchemy is? He knows nothing, and yet he dares to make such audacious claims here. Refine elixirs? He must be able to tell the difference between the various herbs first. Why did this person reject Song Yinan? I think he must be teaching elixir refinement the same way as martial arts. He has no idea of the disparity between Song Yinhan and Yunshun. It's as wide as heaven and earth. This is alchemy. What does it have to do with a martial arts teacher coming over here to make a fool of himself? The medicine faculty students were disgusted by Yi Qing's fake attitude of expertise. He was just a layman at best. How dare he stand before them and judge the skill level of the students here? Song Yinhan raised his brow slightly before he glanced at Yinshan. Oh, I am afraid this is your own opinion. With Yinshan's abilities, it would be difficult for him to be selected for the Inter Academy competition. Even if Qin Feng and the others partner with him, he might not qualify for the competition anyway. If that were to happen, Qin Feng and the others would lose their chance to compete. Teacher Yi, is this really what's best for your students? Song Yinhan's words were extremely harsh. He was more or less trampling Yun Chen's name into the mud. But the surrounding students all felt that there was nothing wrong with what he said. In their eyes, Yinshin was not fit to stay on in the medicine faculty anyway, let alone the fact that Yi Qing was a martial arts teacher. What could he possibly teach Yinshin? Yi Qingtang looked at Song Yinhan. Who said Yinshin won't qualify for the Inter Academy competition? Song Yinhan smiled. If Yinshin can enter the Inter Academy competition, it will only be because every single medicine faculty student is automatically qualified. Teacher Yi, alchemy is not as simple as you think. The refinement of elixirs is not just a matter of throwing a bunch of herbs together. Yi Qingtang gazed impassively at Song Yinhan as she observed Yunshan from the corner of her eye. Yunshan had remained silent right from the start. It was like he was already used to all the insults and ridicule. That gentle, nonchalant smile remained on his face. But it was exactly that smile that made Yi Qingtang's heart ache. I don't know about the others, but Yunshan is guaranteed to qualify, Yi Qingtang repeated. Song Yinhan frowned slightly at Yi Qing's words. Just as he was about to say something, an aged voice rang out. Yinhan, have you not settled the matter yet? An elder with a long white beard strolled through the crowd. All the students in the medicine faculty immediately stepped back respectfully and made way for the elder. Chapter 2330, Trust 2, Master. Song Yinhan was startled by the arrival of the elder. This elder was called Zhu Ning and was the most experienced teacher in the medicine faculty. He was also the most highly skilled alchemist in the entire faculty. Given his reputation in the medicine faculty, even the medicine faculty head or the Netherworld Academy president Wu Fengling had to give him some leeway. With Zhu Ning's abilities, there was no need for him to remain in the academy. But he had a unique character and made a bet with Wu Fengling many years ago. After losing, he agreed to stay on in the Netherworld Academy as a teacher. Zhu Ning's criteria for selecting disciples were even more stringent than Wu Fengling's. To date, he had only personally mentored 2 disciples. One was Song Yinhan. The other was the legendary Grand Master Alchemist. Zhu Ning came to Song Yinhan's side. His brows were furrowed, and he appeared very impatient. As Zhu Ning only taught Song Yinhan about elixir refinement, he seldom bothered himself about other matters. All he knew was that Song Yinhan was preparing to partner with a martial arts practitioner, but did not ask him whom he had chosen. The arrogant Song Yinhan immediately put on a humble manner the moment he saw Zhu Ning. Master, the matter of partnership, there has been a hiccup. What happened? Zhu Ning asked. Song Yinhan replied, I was willing to partner with Qin Feng, but Qin Feng's teacher isn't agreeable. With that, Song Yinhan looked at Yi Qing. Zhu Ning's face darkened before his eyes followed Song Yinhan's line of sight. When he saw Yi Qing, his face did not betray any emotion. Why? Zhu Ning asked. Based on what Zhu Ning understood, no one in the entire academy was good enough to be Song Yinhan's partner. Yet, this teacher was refusing to let his own students partner with Song Yinhan. Yi Qingtang replied, Qin Feng already has an alchemist partner. Who? Zhu Ning asked. Yi Qingtang's gaze landed on Yun Shun. Yun Shun. Zhu Ning frowned when he heard that before he instinctively turned to look at Yun Shun. You are part of the medicine faculty? Zhu Ning felt that Yun Shun looked very unfamiliar. He did not recall having such a student in the faculty. Master, Yun Shun does belong to our faculty, but Master has probably never met him before, as his elixir refinement skills are too low. He has failed nearly every single one of the monthly tests. Song Yinhan immediately spoke up. Now and then, Zhu Ning would give pointers to students who showed talent. With Yun Shen's skills, he had not been worthy to even stand before Zhu Ning. It was no wonder Zhu Ning had no impression of him. At that, Zhu Ning's face darkened. Why is a student of such low quality still in the medicine faculty? Who is his teacher? Why haven't we kicked him out? An alchemist who couldn't refine elixirs? What a joke. Song Yinhan gave a secret smile. I am Yin Shen's teacher. Zhu Ning looked at Yi Qing with his brows slightly furrowed. You are not a teacher from the medicine faculty. That's right. I am Yi Qing and just joined the academy recently. Yi Qingtang replied. Zhu Ning's face darkened even further. An alchemy student who could not refine any elixirs and a teacher who was not from the medicine faculty. What kind of combination was that? It was a complete farce. You are his teacher? You are from another faculty. What can you teach him? This is ridiculous. Zhu Ning had been obsessed with alchemy all his life. He could not tolerate people who treated alchemy as just a frivolous hobby. Chapter 2331, Trust 3. I teach him about elixir refinement, of course. Yi Qingtang stated in a mild tone. Zhu Ning gave a cold laugh. He felt that Yi Qing was just a fool spouting nonsense. Someone like you teaching elixir refinement? Perhaps if there was no other teacher left in the faculty. The medicine faculty is not somewhere you can come and go as you please. Leave here immediately. Song Yinhan felt very smug as he watched Zhu Ning admonish Yi Qing. Yin Shun is a student from the medicine faculty, and today is the faculty selection trials. Why can't he be here? Yi Qingtang questioned Zhu Ning with a steady stare. Zhu Ning looked like he had just heard a great joke. Him? He wants to participate in the selection trials? Why? What's wrong with that? Yi Qingtang asked. Zhu Ning suddenly laughed. Good. I want to see what kind of alchemist a teacher from another faculty can produce. I will state this now. Yin Shun will never be able to qualify for the Inter-Academy competition. What if he does? Yi Qingtang insisted. Zhu Ning replied in a cold voice. If someone like him can qualify, I will seal off my tripod forever and never refine elixirs ever again. But if he fails to qualify, neither of you are allowed to ever step foot inside the medicine faculty. In addition, you must kneel and apologize to the entire medicine faculty for your arrogance and ignorance. Deal. Yi Qingtang agreed without any hesitation. Boss. Yin Chun was shocked. In return, Yi Qing only shot him a keep quiet and stay calm look. Zhu Ning snorted. I'll look forward to it then. With that, Zhu Ning turned to leave. Song Yinhan followed him. All the medicine faculty students stared at Yi Qing as if he was insane. Had yesterday's success gone a teacher's head? Did he really think that just because he produced a few Divine Lord-level students, he was now invincible? This was the medicine faculty. Even if you were an Emperor-level practitioner, it was an entirely different matter to stand in front of a tripod. Teacher Yu was just asking for it. Watching Zhu Ning and the others depart, Yin Shun turned toward Yi Qing. Boss, you didn't have to do that. Yi Qing interrupted. It's not an issue. I already made that bet with Di Nuo. It's just another bet. No harm going all in now. Anyway, with that, Yi Qingtang patted Yin Shun on the shoulder. Yin Shun, you are my student. I believe in you. She had taught Lei Yin and the others about martial arts. As for elixir refinement, she had only taught Yin Shun. In the Evil Soul Forest, Yin Shun would cultivate with Lei Yin and the others during the day. When night fell, he would practice elixir refinement on his own, and Yi Qingtang had seen it all. Over the past few months, Yin Shun had worked 100 times harder than any normal person. In both her previous and current life, she would only have Yin Shun as an alchemy disciple. With 2 lives' worth of knowledge, she was certain that she would be able to produce an alchemy genius. Yin Shun was taken aback by Yi Qing's words. He then lowered his eyes. Boss, I understand. The bet had been made, so there was no going back now. The only thing he could do now was to give his best and protect his teacher's honor. Yin Shun, don't worry. We are all behind you. The elixirs you produce are so much better than Song Yinhan's. Don't worry, just go ahead and do what you do best. Lei Yin and the others stepped forward and patted Yin Shun on the shoulder, showing their support. We don't need any other alchemist. You are more than enough for us. Hang Wenwei and his group never expected things to progress in this way. If it had been them, they would probably not have been able to reject Song Yinhan's offer. Chapter 2332, Palm Flame 1. But for some unknown reason, Yi Qing had just directly rejected him. There was no mercy nor hesitation at all. Not only that, Qin Feng and the others did not protest either. They even showed their firm support. Had they all gone mad? Rejecting Song Yinhan just for one Yin Shun? And offending Zhu Ning. They were digging their own graves. Zhu Ning was scowling as he led Song Yinhan away. Halfway, he suddenly spied a familiar figure. Teacher Di Nuo. Song Yinhan greeted politely when he saw Di Nuo heading their way. As Di Nuo was acquainted with Zhu Ning, Song Yinhan was more courteous toward him than he was to other teachers. In response, Di Nuo gave a brief nod before looking at Zhu Ning's dark face. What's the matter, Teacher Zhu? Why do you look so grim? Zhu Ning frowned, but kept silent. In the end, Song Yinhan narrated the entire incident that had happened earlier. Di Nuo smiled after hearing the story. So, it's because of Yi Qing. I think that Teacher Zhu and I have the same issue. Oh, how so? Zhu Ning looked doubtful at Di Nuo. Di Nuo immediately told him about his bet with Yi Qing, but he glossed over his attempts to make things difficult for the youth and only talked about how arrogant Yi Qing was and how he had flouted multiple school rules. The previous encounter already had Zhu Ning dislike Yi Qing. After hearing Di Nuo's account, he now detested him even more. I have come today to see if Yin Shun can qualify for the inter-academy competition. I wonder what Teacher Zhu thinks. Di Nuo asked. Zhu Ning didn't respond, but Song Yinhan couldn't resist snorting. Dream on. Teacher Di Nuo, Yin Shun is the lousiest student in the medicine faculty. If not for the Liu Yin family clan, he would have been kicked out long ago. Why else would he still be here? Yi Qing might have shown some abilities in martial arts, but today's competition is on elixir refinement. Don't tell me he knows how to teach alchemy too? A smile flashed across Di Nua's eyes on hearing that. If that's the case, it's also a good thing that Yin Han didn't partner with Qin Feng. After all, if Yin Shan fails to qualify for the Inter Academy competition, the entire group of them would be kicked out of the Netherworld Academy. Upon hearing the news, Song Yin Han felt somewhat better. The selection trials for those in the medicine faculty were about to begin. Unlike those in martial arts, the medicine faculty's trials were more inclusive. Any student who was willing to give it a shot could sign up. The format of the competition was very simple. A few hundred students would be participating in this trial, and all competitors had to refine a certain elixir within a fixed amount of time. The quality of the elixir would be judged, and the top 10 students selected from there. Yin Shun had already been escorted to the trial arena by Yi Qingtang and the others. Given his reputation, his appearance attracted quite a number of astonished looks from the other medicine faculty students. No one expected such a lousy student to dare to participate in this trial. And those in the know soon spread the news of the bet between Yi Qing and Di Nua. They also reported on the recent clash between Yi Qing and Zhu Ning. In an instant, a fierce discussion was ignited across the entire medicine faculty. Everyone believed that Yi Qing must be mad. Could he even teach alchemy? On what basis did he dare to go head-to-head with Zhu Ning? I think Yi Qing is getting ahead of himself. Just because he managed to produce a few good martial arts students, he now thinks that the medicine faculty is also his domain. Chapter 2333, Palm Flame 2. Just wait and see. Not only would he lose the bet with Di Nua, but he'll also lose the bet with our teacher Zhu. By then, we'll be able to see him kneeling on the floor in apology before crawling out of the Netherworld Academy. As the crowd continued their discussion, the selection trials began. When the elixir for this year's trial was announced, dismayed cries echoed across the entire arena. Sky Spirit Jade Elixir. My goodness, am I seeing it right? We're going to compete based on that. Madness, madness. Who the hell can refine this elixir? Damn, luckily I didn't take the risk to sign up. Otherwise, I would end up utterly humiliated. This is a high-grade elixir. Although we sometimes refine elixirs beyond our grade, the success rate is pathetic. It would be considered a major stroke of luck to succeed just once over 100 tries. Even if a high-level alchemist attempts this, his success rate would not be more than 10%. The crowd felt that this year's trial was too ruthless. For this grade of elixir, not only did one have to select the required ingredients with the utmost care, the process of brewing it was extremely arduous. Just the slightest mistake would result in failure. Even if one carried out all the steps correctly, they still might not succeed. This type of high-grade elixir was an impossible challenge to the medicine faculty students. Those students, who had been full of confidence when they turned up for the trial, were now utterly shattered by those 4 words, Sky Spirit Jade Elixir. Meanwhile, after seeing the topic, one lone person amongst the candidates immediately stood up and went to collect the necessary ingredients. Damn, who is so formidable? They're ready to start already? Everyone turned to look and realized that it was Song Yinhan. Their amazement instantly faded away. Apart from Song Yinhan, no one else could refine this elixir. Look at Song Yinhan's tripod. Isn't that the same one left behind by that legendary figure? The crowd finally noticed that Song Yinhan's tripod looked exceptionally outstanding. It was a dark gold tripod only about half the height of a normal person. Although it was much smaller than the usual tripod, no one would suspect its quality. After all, this tripod was a treasure left behind by that Grandmaster Alchemist. Zhu Ning had kept this tripod since that legendary figure left. It was rumored that many alchemists were willing to pay a good fortune to buy that tripod, but they had all been rejected. And now, that divine-level tripod was in Song Yinhan's possession. It could be seen just how highly Zhu Ning regarded him. Song Yinhan's speed was the fastest. While the rest of the candidates were still in a confused daze, he had already selected the appropriate ingredients and started the preparations. The other candidates finally snapped out of their reverie. Since they were here, they might as well just give it their best shot. Stepping forward, they moved to choose the ingredients. Nearly all the best ingredients had already been snatched up by the candidates. Meanwhile, one person remained unmoving. Don't tell me Yin-shun is scared stiff, but I'm not surprised. He probably doesn't even know the recipe for the Sky Spirit Jade Elixir. Already said he shouldn't have joined. Isn't he just asking for it? This was completely within the crowd's expectations. No one bothered about that useless low-level student anymore. Instead, they all focused on Song Yin-han. It was a pleasure to watch his fluid, practiced movements. On the high stage, a satisfied glint flashed across Zhu Ning's eyes as he observed Song Yin-han's actions. Chapter 2334, Palm Flame 3. Meanwhile, Dino noticed the immobile Yun-shun and his eyes filled with joy. He looked forward to the moment when he could see Yi Qing crawl out of the Netherworld Academy. Boss, what happened to Yin-shun? Why is he not moving? Lei Yin had been brimming with confidence, but he was feeling a little panicky now. Why was Yin-shun not moving? At least go get the ingredients first. Yi Qingtang remained silent. She only continued to watch Yin-shun with a calm expression. By this stage, most of the candidates had already prepared the ingredients and were starting the refinement process. At this moment, everyone finally realized there was something amiss with Yin-shun. He doesn't have any tripod? What's going on? Could he have forgotten to bring it? Someone noticed the empty space around Yin-shun. It was completely different from the other candidates who each had their own tripod beside them. How would one refine elixirs without a tripod? Yin-shun finally went over to gather the ingredients to start the prep work. His speed was far slower than an average person's. Boss, did you forget to prepare a tripod for Yin-shun? Should Nangong lie and I go and bring one over for him? Yi Qingtang shot Lei Yin a look. While we were in the Evil Soul Forest, when have you ever seen me or Yin-shun use a tripod? Lei Yin was stunned. Jingze suddenly recalled something. He vaguely remembered that Yi Qing usually taught Yin-shun elixir refinement late at night. By then, the rest of them were all dead tired and sleeping like pigs. Once, he happened to wake up in the middle of the night and saw Yi Qing and Yin-shun with fires on their palms. Could it be? Boss, don't tell me. Jingze looked at Yi Qing with a strange expression. Yi Qing smiled, but remained silent. At this moment, a sudden cry rang out. Quick, look! What is Yin-shun using to refine his elixir? The crowd thought that with Yin-shun's slow speed, everyone else would have finished refining their elixirs before he even completed the prep work. In the end, his preparation speed had been astonishing. In the blink of an eye, all his ingredients were already properly prepared, and just as everyone had lost interest in him, an intense flame was ignited upon his palm. He placed all the ingredients into his palm. That flame engulfed all the ingredients. What is this? He's not using a tripod, but using his hand? Are you kidding me? Everyone was bewildered. In their knowledge, alchemists always use tripods to refine elixirs. This was the first time they were seeing someone refine elixirs using a flame from their palm. At this point, even Zhu Ning was shocked. Palm flame? How did he learn this? Zhu Ning was utterly stunned. His earlier arrogant manner disappeared. Zhu Ning was obsessed with alchemy and had studied countless ancient records. He had once read about a special elixir refinement method, which made use of a palm flame in place of a tripod. With this method, one could better control every parameter of the elixir refinement process. Using this special technique, the elixir quality and success rate would far surpass that of the usual method using a tripod. Even a divine-level tripod would not be able to produce such results. The palm flame was the dream technique that all alchemists aspired towards. However, the palm flame method had already been lost over time. Zhu Ning had searched for 100 years, but failed to find any more information on it. Zhu Ning never imagined that he would be able to witness the palm flame method in his lifetime. And it was being executed by Yin-shun, whom he had completely disregarded. Impossible. The palm flame technique was a lost legacy. How did Yin-shun manage to learn it? Zhu Ning's expression shifted. He instinctively turned to look at Yi Qing. Chapter 2335. Perfect Quality 1. The elusive palm flame technique had been lost for many years. Yi Qing was just a youth in his 20s and a martial arts practitioner, and not even a high-level one at that. There was no way Zhu Ning would believe that such a person would know the palm flame technique. Teacher Zhu, Di Nuo, who had been feeling very confident, suddenly noticed the strange look on Zhu Ning's face. Zhu Ning remained silent. Although he could see Yunchen using a palm flame, he couldn't be 100% sure it was that legendary technique. To confirm it, they would have to wait until Yunchen completed his refinement. After all, an elixir refined using the palm flame method would possess unique characteristics. At this point, Yi Qingtang was entirely focused on Yunchen. Yunchen's movements were very fast, and he was using his palm flame to refine the elixir. All his movements and his entire process was being displayed in front of everyone. Song Yinhan had already placed all his ingredients into the tripod and been refining for some time. He surveyed the arena and saw the anxious expressions on the faces of the other candidates. Their refinement techniques were also largely incorrect. It was just as he had predicted. He was just undergoing today's trial as a courtesy. With his abilities, no other student in the entire Netherworld Academy could compare with him. Used to basking in the spotlight, Song Yinhan was expecting astonished and admiring gazes when he suddenly realized that none of the spectators were even looking at him. In the next second, Song Yinhan's brows were slightly furrowed. Used to being the center of attention, he found it very strange. He instinctively followed the eyes of the spectators. Song Yinhan was dumbstruck by what he saw. Yunchen had a strong flame in his palm, which was gradually refining the prepped ingredients, slowly transforming them into an elixir pill. This special refinement technique had attracted the attention of everyone. Even the candidates were also watching after having placed their own ingredients into their tripods. What is Yunchen doing? What is going on? What kind of technique is that? The candidates all believed that Yunchen was just showing off some fancy trick to divert attention from his lack of skill. Song Yinhan was the only one whose expression underwent a major shift. Palm flame? As Zhu Ning's disciple, of course he knew about the legendary elixir refinement technique, which his master had always dreamed of. But how did a useless piece of trash like Yunchen know the palm flame technique? There was no way Song Yinhan was willing to believe that Yunchen really knew this technique. Time passed by the minute and second. Yunchen's palm flame suddenly surged and grew stronger. The fire engulfed the ingredients, and no one could see his progress. Damn, boss, what is this special elixir refinement technique? It looks very formidable. Lei Yin widened his eyes. This was the first time he was seeing Yunchen refine elixirs. Previously, in the Evil Soul Forest, Yi Qing only taught Yunchen late at night, when the rest of them were already snoring like pigs. Yi Qingtang didn't reply. She merely watched on as Yunchen used his flame with a practiced hand, slowly refining his elixir pill. Meanwhile, Gong Jinyun and his group were somewhat confused. They didn't know much about alchemy and were at a loss about what was happening. But Yunchen's elixir refinement technique did look rather fancy. It would be some time before the Sky Spirit Jade elixirs would be done. Everyone was waiting in anticipation of the results. Chapter 2336. Perfect Quality 2. Song Yinhan's eyes were focused on Yunchen's hand. Even now, he could not confirm whether it was the palm flame. As time passed by the minute and second, the sky started to darken with the night. Song Yinhan looked away again. His elixir had been successfully refined. The surrounding students were now somewhat bored and tired. When they saw Song Yinhan about to open his tripod and take out his elixir, everyone immediately perked up. Song Yinhan has finished refining his elixir? Everyone was amazed. They immediately turned towards Song Yinhan. A wonderful fragrance spread across the arena when the tripod was opened, leaving behind a bluish-green elixir pill in the tripod. The elixir was covered in a faint, shimmery glow, looking exceptional under the moonlight. Retrieving his successfully completed elixir, Song Yinhan placed it in an open silk box. Song Yinhan was the first to complete his concoction. Thereafter, an increasing number of candidates also ended their refinement process, but when they opened their tripods, the disparity was clear for all to see. Apart from Song Yinhan, the elixirs of all the other candidates were dull and lackluster. Some of the pills didn't even form properly at all. Quite a number of the elixirs were also suffused with a thick medicinal smell. It should be pointed out that the most obvious sign of a successful refinement of the Sky Spirit Jade elixir was its clear, light fragrance. And that medicinal smell was proof of failure. Those candidates felt their hearts sink into the floor when they looked at their own pills before looking at Song Yinhan's. There was no comparison at all. I say this year's test is just too difficult. The number of people who are able to concoct this elixir in the first place can be counted on one hand. And to compete on quality, select 10 candidates? It would be a blessing to even find 5 who manage to produce a proper elixir. I say, Yin Shun has been burning his for an entire day already. Have his ingredients been reduced to ashes? Someone noticed that Yin Shun had yet to complete his refinement. As most of the candidates had already concluded the test, the teachers in charge of judging the quality of the elixirs walked over. They inspected all the completed elixirs. The more they inspected, the more solemn their faces grew. As a part of the Netherworld Academy Medicine faculty, they had once produced a Grandmaster Alchemist. What happened to these students? What the hell did they concoct? Was this even considered a concoction? Looking at those charred black, shapeless objects, the teachers couldn't believe those things were meant to be elixirs. A few could be considered more or less properly formed, but the quality was terribly inferior. When they arrived in front of Song Yinhan and saw his bluish-green elixir, smiles finally broke out on the grim faces of those teachers. Not bad. One of the teachers was very pleased as he inspected the elixir. Song Yinhan's elixir refinement had been a success. The quality was not perfect, but the Sky Spirit Jade elixir had always been a very difficult pill to refine. Song Yinhan was the only one who managed to produce a successful elixir. And with the quality of his Sky Spirit Jade elixir, countless people on the outside would be willing to pay top dollar for it. Elder Zhu has indeed produced a good disciple. All the teachers were full of praise for Song Yinhan. Even they might not have been able to successfully concoct a Sky Spirit Jade elixir in one try. But Song Yinhan had managed to do it. Indeed, he deserved his reputation as the top student in the medicine faculty. Chapter 2337. Perfect Quality 3. Song Yinhan maintained his usual expression. After all, he had always been very confident of his own skills. Looking at the teachers' reactions, the candidates knew that Song Yinhan's refinement had been successful and the quality must be pretty good. Song Yinhan is really a genius freak. This Sky Spirit Jade elixir is so perversely difficult. To think that he was able to concoct it. I have to concede defeat. It's pointless to try and compare myself to him. It will be a breeze for me to qualify for the inter-academy competition if I am even half as good as Song Yinhan. Just as the crowd was full of admiration and praise for Song Yinhan, a bluish-green glow suddenly appeared in the arena. Everyone's attention was instantly attracted by that glow. Turning to look, the crowd was stunned by what they saw. Everyone had nearly forgotten about Yin Shun. No one noticed that he had just finished his refinement. The flame in his palm had disappeared, and a glowing bluish-green elixir rested on his palm. A single glance was enough to send everyone into a stupefied daze. What is going on? Is this for real? Yin Shun really managed to produce it? What the? No matter how I look at it, the color of his elixir appears to be even purer than Song Yinhan's. Song Yinhan had also noticed the situation, and his brow furrowed in consternation. Startled, the teachers walked over to Yin Shun. Up on the high stage, Zhu Ning's expression turned extremely grave. The moment they ascertained the quality of Yin Shun's elixir, he would know whether it was the palm flame. Those teachers arrived at Yin Shun's side. Right from the first glance, they were instantly bewildered by his Sky Spirit Jade elixir. After all, they were all alchemists and could easily determine the quality of elixirs. From the moment they approached Yin Shun, the light fragrance of the Sky Spirit Jade elixir drifted into their nostrils. Just the scent alone instantly washed away all their tiredness. Even Song Yinhan's Sky Spirit Jade Elixir did not have that effect. The teachers exchanged glances. As teachers from the medicine faculty, they knew of Yun Chen's reputation. They had been frustrated by his lack of skill and chose to simply ignore him. But now, the Sky Spirit Jade Elixir resting in his palm had stunned them all. The quality of this elixir. One of the teachers had a strange expression on his face. He picked up the pill and examined it closely with the other teachers. Song Yinhan was also watching the entire process. Good, good, good. Exhilarated exclamations rang out from the mouths of those teachers, and the entire crowd found themselves dazed by the teachers' shouts. What do they mean by good? Yin Shun, we never expected you to be able to successfully concoct a perfect quality Sky Spirit Jade Elixir. You have given us a great surprise. One of the teachers looked at Yin Shun with an ear-splitting beam on his face. He happily patted Yin Shun on the back, his excitement evident for all to see. A perfect quality Sky Spirit Jade Elixir? Are you kidding me? By Yin Shun? Everyone was dumbstruck by the teacher's words. Those medicine faculty students stared at Yun Shun in shock. They suspected that they must be too tired after standing there the whole day, and were hallucinating now. How challenging was it to refine a Sky Spirit Jade Elixir? And how lousy was Yun Chen's skill level? Perfect quality? Impossible. No one believed that Yun Shun could even refine it in the first place. But why would the medicine faculty teachers tell a lie in front of everyone? Chapter 23:38. Doubt 1. Don't tell me. This is real? Impossible. Even Song Yinhan didn't manage to produce a perfect quality elixir. How could Yun Shun? The students exchanged looks as if they had just seen a ghost. Song Yinhan was also thunderstruck. Those teachers were completely immersed in the creation of the perfect quality elixir. It should be pointed out that successfully concocting a pill was not the most difficult part. The most difficult was producing one which was perfect quality. Even a master-level alchemist would not dare to guarantee that he could refine perfect quality elixirs every single time. So the level of difficulty could only be left to the imagination. They never held much regard for Yin Shun. They never expected such a great surprise today. The teachers immediately brought that elixir onto the high stage to let Zhu Ning have a look. After all, Zhu Ning was the most highly skilled teacher in the medicine faculty. Zhu Ning had heard the teacher's exclamations. When he saw the elixir up close, his expression grew extremely solemn. Meanwhile, Di Nuo was now in a complete daze. He never dreamed that Yin Shun would be successful in his refinement. He had no idea how difficult it was to refine a Sky Spirit Jade Elixir, but he had observed that less than 5 candidates had managed to successfully produce one. And this included Yin Shun. This meant that Yin Shun had successfully qualified for the Inter-Academy competition. All of Yi Qingtang students were now in the name list to enter the competition, as specified in their bet. Di Nuo felt like he had been struck by lightning. His face was grim to the extreme. He didn't even notice Zhu Ning's increasingly bewildered expression as he examined the elixir. Teacher Zhu, Yun Chen's elixir is truly flawless. Didn't expect this kid to have such hidden talent. Zhu Ning ignored them. He just continued to examine Yun Chen's elixir. Perfect. Truly perfect. Zhu Ning had extremely high standards and was very stringent in his judging, but even he couldn't find any flaws. Zhu Ning himself couldn't refine an elixir of better quality than this. He took a deep breath to suppress the doubts in his heart. He had reached a conclusion. The biggest reason why alchemists hankered after the palm flame was because all elixirs produced by that technique were of perfect quality. That was how formidable it was. When Zhu Ning confirmed the perfect quality of the Sky Spirit Jade Elixir, he also confirmed that Yin Shun must have used the palm flame. Teacher Di Nuo, who has been teaching Yin Shun over this period, he suddenly asked. Di Nuo snapped out of his trance. Yi Qing. Teacher Di Nuo, are you sure that Yi Qing was the only one who has been teaching Yin Shun over this period? Zhu furrowed his brows slightly. He knew that Yi Qingtang had claimed to be Yun Qin's teacher, but he just couldn't believe that she was the one who taught him this palm flame. Setting aside the palm flame, just the fact that Yun Qin was able to produce the Sky Spirit Jade Elixir was shocking enough. As effective as the palm flame was, one still had to have refinement skills. If he wasn't good enough, he would still end up producing herbal dregs, even when using a palm flame. With Yun Qin's lousy elixir refinement abilities, it was a stretch for him to even produce elementary-level elixirs, not to mention high-level pills like the Sky Spirit Jade Elixir. Yi Qingtang was a martial arts practitioner. How did she manage to improve Yun Qin's refinement skills by so much over such a short duration? Chapter 2339. Doubt. 2. Dinua found Zhu Ning's tone rather strange. I think so, but some time ago, Yi Qing brought Yun Qin and the others out for a period of time. I don't know if anyone else intervened during that period. Zhu Ning took a deep breath. Teacher Dinua, do you know what technique Yun Qin used to refine his elixir? Dinua shook his head. He used a palm flame, Zhu Ning said. The confused expression on Dinua's face showed that he had not heard of it before. Zhu Ning continued. Teacher Dinua, you should know that the palm flame is a technique which all alchemists dream of. Even my most accomplished disciple, he spent many years and made use of countless connections to try and find it, but to no avail. Dinua's face stiffened. The disciple mentioned by Zhu Ning was naturally that Grandmaster Alchemist. How high was his status in the second domain? How many great factions wished to get on his good side? Something which even he could not get. It must be priceless. Teacher Dinua, how much do you know about Yi Qing? Does he have any special talent regarding elixirs? The palm flame was extremely precious. Zhu Ning had to clarify things properly. A conflicted glint flashed across Dinua's eyes. He knew Zhu Ning very well. Zhu Ning was obsessed with alchemy and maintained his status and reputation up until now as one whose obsession with elixir refinement was more intense and crazed than any normal person. As a result, he would detest a person like Yi Qing to the core, someone whom he believed treated alchemy like a hobby. All of Zhu Ning's likes and dislikes were linked to alchemy. Dinua mulled over this for a while before continuing. I don't know much about alchemy, and I have not heard any news about Yi Qing having any special elixir refinement skills. Moreover, the palm flame is so rare and precious. If Yi Qing really is that capable, why would he apply to be a teacher in the martial arts faculty? With that palm flame technique alone, it wouldn't be difficult for him to join the medicine faculty, right? Zhu Ning frowned at Dinua's words. Things were just as Dinua had said. If someone came to apply to be a medicine faculty teacher with that palm flame technique, no medicine faculty in the entire world would reject him. In fact, there was a higher likelihood that they would fight over him. If not Yi Qing, perhaps he found someone when they were outside? Dinua asked. He could not let Yi Qing win this bet. How could he believe that Yi Qing was really that good? Dinua had nearly vomited blood at the results of yesterday's martial arts selection trials. He just could not understand how a Paragon 6th heaven-level person managed to produce 5 Divine Lord Stage students. And Zhu Ning's query offered Dinua an alternative theory that was much more plausible. Even if he was a martial arts genius, how old was he? How could he possibly also be good at alchemy? Not only that, he somehow managed to find a long-lost palm flame. This was not something a person as young as Yi Qing could achieve, unless he sought out some high-level practitioner from the outside. Otherwise, how else could one explain the rapid advancement of Qin Feng and the rest over just a short few months? Even if Wu Fengling personally mentored them, he wouldn't be able to produce such results. Moreover, it was not just martial arts. Even Yun Qin's elixir was better than Song Yanhan's. This was just ridiculous. Could a youth in his 20s be even more formidable than 2 highly respected elders like Wu Fengling and Zhu Ning? Preposterous. Chapter 2340. Doubts 3. All those miraculous things happened after Yi Qing brought them out. As Dinua mulled over it, he became increasingly convinced that he had come upon the truth. No wonder Yi Qing dared to make that bet with him. He was a fake. Yi Qing must have brought his students out and found someone who was not a Netherworld Academy teacher to teach them. He then brought them back to pass off their progress as his own hard work, gaining recognition for things he was undeserving of. With this kind of character, Wu Fengling would never keep him. Since he was a fake, it would be taken that he had lost the bet. Some color finally returned to Di Nua's ashen face. Zhu Ning continued to look very solemn. He did not care whether it was Yi Qing who taught them. He also did not believe that a young person like him could be so formidable. If anything, he was more intent on finding out who the real practitioner who taught Yinshan that palm flame was. Yun Shen's perfect quality Sky Spirit Jade Elixir had shaken the hearts of everyone. Lei Yin and the others were about to drag him off for a proper celebration when they saw Zhu Ning and Di Nua coming down from the high stage. They were heading toward Yi Qing and his students. "Boss, do you think Teacher Zhu is going to apologize to you?" Nangong Lai smirked. Previously, Zhu Ning believed that Yun Shun would never qualify for the Inter-Academy competition. Now, he must be utterly shocked. Not only did Yun Shun qualify, but the quality of his elixir was also even better than that loser, Song Yinhan's. Just the distressed look on Song Yinhan's face sent a thrill down Nangong Lai's spine. Who did he think he was? Did he know who their boss was? Yi Qing didn't say anything. Song Yinhan also noticed Zhu Ning. His face was pale, and he looked very grim. He never expected to lose, and definitely not to someone as inconsequential as Yin Shun. "Master," Song Yinhan walked over with his pale face. But Zhu Ning only ignored him. Instead, he went over to Yi Qing. Lei Yin and the others got all excited when they saw Zhu Ning come over. They were just waiting to see how that proud old head would bow down before their boss. So he finally realized how formidable their boss was, huh? Yi Qingtang didn't think too much. But after seeing Zhu Ning's expression, she knew that things were not as simple as what her students believed. "Yi Qing." Zhu Ning looked at Yi Qingtang impassively. "Tell me honestly, who did you seek out to teach Yinshan? If you tell me the truth, I will not pursue other matters." Lei Yin and the rest were stunned by Zhu Ning's words. What did he mean by that? Seek out who to teach Yinshan? Pursue what other matters? This old man was so shameless and a sore loser. Didn't he say that he would seal off his tripod forever? Now, he wanted to pursue things with their boss? What kind of nonsense was Zhu Ning spouting? Di Nua spoke up. "Yi Qing, since Teacher Zhu has already promised you, just tell the truth. Otherwise, things might get ugly." Their statements had attracted quite a bit of attention. The students all knew that Yun Shun had been taught by Yi Qing during this period. Previously, they had been shocked that a martial arts teacher like Yi Qing could teach so well. But Zhu Ning and Di Nua's words instantly solved the mystery. It must be that Yi Qing didn't teach him personally. He had found someone else. Yun Shen's face darkened. "Teacher Zhu, I don't know why you were asking such a question. Teacher, you taught me everything I know." No one else intervened. Chapter 2341. Try it out yourself. 1. Di Nua went on and reprimanded. "He is your teacher, so of course you would say that. But I have to ask, how did a Paragon 6th heaven level manage to produce 5 Divine Lord Stage students in just a few months? And Yinshan, you know very well what you used to be like. Yi Qing is still so young. What? Don't tell me he also studied alchemy? He was the one who taught you the palm flame?" Di Nua's words cleared the confusion of many students. They stared suspiciously at Yi Qing. It was not that there were no good teachers in this world, but they had also found it very unbelievable when they first heard that Yi Qing had produced 5 Divine Lord Stage students. After all, he had not been with Qin Feng and the others for long. Before he came, apart from Qin Feng, they had never even heard their names before. But now, they had all ascended the Divine Lord Stage. That alone was fine. Today was even more incredible. Now, even Yin Shun, his lone alchemy student, managed to refine an elixir who was even better than Song Yinhan's. If this was real, Yi Qing was probably not human. right? Only a god would be able to perform such miracles. Sometimes miraculous things would cause amazement, but there was still a limit. It was clear that Yi Qing's 6 students had far surpassed the limits of what these people could accept. They were so powerful that it was truly hard for them to believe. And the worst thing was, Yi Qing was not powerful himself and was still quite young. How on earth did he manage to produce these 6 students, let alone over such a short period? If this was all real, weren't the rest of the Netherworld Academy people just a bunch of useless idiots? They had been cultivating hard for over a dozen years, but couldn't compare to just a few months under Yi Qing. Yin Shen's smile had faded, and a harsh glint surfaced in his eyes. Lei Yin and the rest also looked similarly grim. Just because their boss was still young and didn't have a high cultivation level, did this mean they could just make such wild accusations and insult him? The teenagers were incensed, but Yi Qing suddenly spoke up. So, it seems like Teacher Dinua doesn't believe I was the one who taught them. Dinua put on an arrogant, that's right expression. Teacher Zhu is of the same opinion. Yi Qing looked at Zhu Ning. Although Zhu Ning didn't speak, his face showed that he agreed with Yi Qing's question. Boss, let's go. This shitty Netherworld Academy, we don't need this place. Lei Yin gritted his teeth. They were all so arrogant that he had already lost all interest in being in this school. If not for the fact that he had been so scared of being kicked out and enduring a beating from his father, he would have fled long ago. Now, these people were insulting their boss right in front of them. This was unbearable. There was no need to stay in such a terrible place. Dinua, let me tell you, our boss is several thousand times better than you. You will never be able to compare to him in this life, in your next life, or even in your next life. You can't produce good students yourself, and yet you want to stop our boss from teaching? Just you wait. I will settle this score with you one day. Lei Yin was livid. He already noticed that Dinua didn't like Yi Qing and was always purposely stirring trouble for him. While he was no match for Dinua now, but there would come a day in the future when he would take revenge for his boss. Boss, let's go. We don't care about staying in this academy. Yinshin took a deep breath before speaking. He had enough of these people degrading Yi Qing like this. No matter what they said, no one would believe them. These people had always looked down on their boss. Chapter 2342. Try it out yourself, too. Their boss was so good. There was no need to stay here and endure this abuse. Boss, we will all leave with you, Jingzhe said. What? Try to flee after being exposed? Dinua sneered. Dinua had just completed a sentence when a murderous light flashed across Qin Feng's eyes. He drew his sword and stood in front of Yi Qingtang. Say another word and I will kill you today. Qin Feng stared coldly at Dinua. From her position nearby, Mu Xing also narrowed her eyes. The puppet in her arms had already disappeared from sight. Hang Wenwei and his group were dumbfounded. They never expected the situation to escalate like this. They also felt that Dinua was purposely making things difficult for Yi Qing, but Qin Feng dared to draw his sword at a teacher. Damn, what's going on? Ranimo, hurry up, go in. Hang Wenwei was about to ask Ranimo to call for reinforcements when he turned to see that Ranimo had already disappeared. They had just acknowledged Yi Qing as their teacher and still weren't that close to him, but they could feel that Yi Qing was not like what Dinua and Juning claimed. He was not someone who would go and find someone else to teach his own disciples. Moreover, just looking at how Qin Feng and the others were willing to lay down their lives for Yi Qing, it could be seen how much respect they had for him. If Yi Qing had not personally taught them, would they respect him so much? This commotion was a shock to everyone in the medicine faculty. In the beginning, Jingzhe had tried to explain that Yi Qing had taught them everything. But no matter what he said, Dinua would have some excuse or other to counter his words. The key reason was, Yi Qing's cultivation level was too low. It was inconceivable that such a youth could produce several divine, Lord-level students in such a short period of time. It was even more impossible for him to be a godsend in alchemy. As Jingzhe and the others had been instructed by Yi Qing not to talk about their experience in the Evil Soul Forest, they did not dare to do so. After all, The evil soul forest matter had immense significance. It might even end up triggering the other factions in the second domain. They had to keep it a secret. Yi Qingtang looked at the little brats surrounding her. Her heart felt like it was burning. Back down, Yi Qingtang spoke in a mild tone. As their teacher, how could she let her own disciples stand up for her while she hid behind them? Yi Qingtang did not care what Di Nuo and the others thought about her. After all, she had no intention of staying long in the Netherworld Academy, but if this implicated Qin Feng and the rest, she would never back down. Boss, Yi Qingtang shot them a keep quiet and stay calm. Look before turning toward Di Nuo and Juning. Since the two of you don't believe me, why don't you try me out yourselves? Yi Qingtang smiled. Yi Qing, what do you mean by that? Di Nuo frowned. You two believe that I cannot possibly produce divine lord-level students and cannot possibly know anything about alchemy. It's just a simple matter. I will challenge you two. If I lose, I will accept all of your accusations. If I win, I hope that you two can honor the terms of our bets. Everyone was dumbstruck by Yi Qing's words. Even Lei Yin and the others had widened their eyes in disbelief. Boss, don't be too impulsive. Just leave this matter to us. Nangonglai was panicking. They were not worried about boss alchemy skills, but fighting with Di Nuo, that was too much. Di Nuo was a teacher from the martial arts faculty and had already reached the Divine Lord's second heaven peak level. He was just one step away from the third heaven level, and Yi Qing was only a paragon sixth heaven level. The disparity between these two was unimaginable. If it really came down to a battle, Di Nuo would be able to finish off Yi Qing with just one move. Chapter 2343. Try it out yourself. 3. Boss, let me take your place in the fight. Qin Feng immediately offered. Yi Qingtang remained impassive as she said in a cold voice, if you still treat me as your boss, stand down. Boss. Lei Yin was really in a panic now. Di Nuo hated Yi Qing so much that if they were to fight, wouldn't he take this opportunity to just kill him? Thud. Lei Yin kneeled down in front of Yi Qing. Boss, I cannot back down. Even if you kill me, I refuse to budge. You cannot fight him, I beg you, please. Let's leave now. Netherworld Academy? Inter-Academy competition? We don't care about any of that. Let's just head out there together. As a group, we can rule the world. Yi Qingtang's heart grew warm as she looked at Lei Yan's red-rimmed eyes. She pulled him to his feet. As your boss, how can I possibly let you leave with me? Don't worry. If I can't even protect you brats, I am not fit to be your boss. Lei Yan wanted to say something else when Yun Shun gritted his teeth and stopped him. Listen to boss. Yin Shun, have you gone mad too? Don't you know? Yin Shun tightened his grip on Lei Yan's shoulder. When did boss ever say something that didn't come true? If he says he will be fine, we must believe him. No matter what Yi Qing said or did, they must believe in him. Lei Yan was stunned. Nangonglai and the others were also feeling very conflicted. Meanwhile, Di Nuo laughed out loud at Yi Qing's suggestion. All right, since you wish to prove yourself in this manner, I will give you a chance. Teacher Zhu, what do you think? Zhu Ning was not at all interested in any of this. The only thing he wanted to know was who taught Yin Shun that palm flame. As a result, he remained silent. Within minutes, news of Yi Qing challenging a martial arts and an alchemy teacher had spread across the entire medicine faculty. Quite a number of students from the martial arts faculty also heard the news and hurried over. Those who had just arrived did not know what exactly happened. But after hearing the medicine faculty students' narration, they were all dumbstruck. Has he gone mad? Yi Qing wants to fight Di Nuo with his low cultivation stage. Wouldn't Di Nuo kill him in just one move? I think that he is just feeling guilty. Di Nuo's theory is not without reason. Someone who is adept at both martial arts and alchemy. Is he a deity? And he is only a few years older than us. Let's not argue over whether that's true. Even if it is, how the hell is he going to fight Di Nuo? I just can't understand what this Yi Qing is thinking. He's probably a madman? Countless students streamed in to watch a good show. By then, Yi Qing was already standing on the platform with Di Nuo. Lei Yin and the others stood beneath the platform, feeling more nervous than they had ever felt before. They were feeling even more nervous than when they were undergoing their own trials. Yin Shun, you should persuade teacher Yi not to act so rashly. Ran Mo must have gone to inform the president. The president thinks very highly of teacher Yi, so I'm sure we can wait until he is here before we make a decision. Xiao Nin spoke in exasperation. Yin Shun looked at Yi Qing before replying. Boss is right. He must be the one to prove himself. No one else can do that. Even if Wu Fengling arrived and calmed the situation down, a rumor was like a seed. Once planted, it would grow rapidly and sprout leaves. Chapter 2344, Swollen Face. 1. Yi Qing's reputation in the Netherworld Academy would be ruined. Like this, his students would also be implicated in the rumors and be dragged through the mud. The only way to deal with this was with genuine power. This was the only way to quash those rumors. Yinshin could more or less guess that was what Yi Qing was thinking. It was just that he was not sure whether Yi Qing was really that confident. Xiaonan looked rather conflicted. In the end, they had just got to know Yi Qing yesterday and were not that close to him, but they all respected his courage and willingness to stand up for himself. Perhaps Lei Yin and the others didn't realize this themselves, but they had completely changed. It was not just their powers, but also their hearts. Previously, they had already given up on themselves in despair. Thanks to Yi Qing's existence in their lives, they had stepped onto the road to becoming stronger. Both their powers and their aspirations had undergone earth-shattering changes. A phrase popped into Xiaonan's mind. Troops took after their general. Perhaps it was this kind of feeling. Yi Qing was not just their teacher. He was their spiritual leader. Xiaonan couldn't help feeling somewhat envious. He had his own teacher, but they didn't have this type of deep bond. If he encountered trouble, would his teacher fight for him? And if his own teacher was in trouble, would he also be as brave as Lei Yin and the rest, willing to sacrifice everything to help him? What kind of shared experience forged this kind of bond? On the platform, Yi Qingtang looked as calm as always. Meanwhile, Di Nuo had a grin as deep as it was malevolent. Meanwhile, Yi Qingtang looked at Di Nuo steadily. She knew he disliked her. This was the kind of scorn an arrogant practitioner had for a weaker one. Perhaps she had already aroused Di Nuo's dislike the moment she became a teacher in the Netherworld Academy. But so what? Having been reborn, there was no way Yi Qingtang would bother about the baseless opinions of others. She was doing this now, just so Lei Yin and the others wouldn't have their own names dragged through the mud. There was no way she could leave them with a tarnished reputation of having had a morally corrupt teacher, right? And they had been so protective of this morally corrupt boss. Like this, Yi Qingtang would gladly enter into battle for the sake of her brats. Di Nuo gazed at Yi Qing. Right from the start, he felt that Yi Qing was just asking for it. A Paragon 6th heaven-level practitioner dared to stand on the same platform as him? Yi Qing, I will give you one last chance. If you admit your wrongdoings now, I will spare you the physical pain. Di Nuo smiled. Yi Qingtang completely ignored his words. Di Nuo's face darkened. Well then, you will only have yourself to blame for what happens today. Anything can happen in a fight. Don't blame me if there are any accidents. The threat in Di Nuo's voice was clear. Di Nuo, if you dare to hurt my boss, I will kill you even if I have to go down in a hell with you. Lei Yin hollered. They respected Yi Qing's decision, but this didn't mean they would forgive those who hurt him. As Di Nuo glanced at Lei Yin and the others, the amusement in his eyes deepened. Yi Qing, I do admire you for this. You managed to make these teenagers trust you so completely. What kind of potion did you give them? Why are they so loyal to you? Chapter 2345, Swollen Face 2. Di Nuo was not anxious to make his move. After all, with Yi Qing's powers, he could kill him in one move. You really like to talk a lot. Yi Qingtang stared impassively at Di Nuo. Di Nuo's face stiffened. Make your move and stop wasting time. I still have to compete with Zhu Ning after this match ends. If anything, Yi Qing's words enraged Di Nuo. The surrounding students widened their eyes. This Yi Qing is so bold. Or is he just a fool? Does he really think that after this match Di Nuo, he will still be able to walk off this platform? Seeing that Yi Qing was so eager to die, Di Nuo narrowed his eyes and unleashed his powerful Divine Lord stage aura. So powerful, the crowd couldn't resist gasping. Qin Feng's expression darkened. Ranimo was also a Divine Lord second heaven level, but he was only at the early stage and Di Nuo was at the peak. With Di Nuo's powers, even if they all joined forces to fight him, there would still not be a match for Di Nuo. Qin Feng quietly clenched his fists as he paid close attention to everything that happened on the platform. He was prepared to dash up at the crucial moment to rescue Yi Qing. The same idea had simultaneously appeared in the minds of Jing Zhe and the others. They didn't care about the academy rules and didn't care about who they offended. They were already prepared to charge up the platform the moment Yi Qing was in danger and then flee with him from the Netherworld Academy. Yi Qing Tang stared coldly at Di Nuo, whose aura was surging wildly. Still she remained unmoving. Di Nuo was unsurprised at Yi Qing's lack of reaction. Suppressed by Divine Lord level aura, it was only natural that a Paragon 6th heaven level practitioner could not move. In the next second, Di Nuo morphed into a golden light, and he charged toward Yi Qing. Qin Feng and the rest were extremely tense. Just as Di Nuo was approaching Yi Qing, he suddenly lifted his eyes and parted his lips. Then he uttered a single word. Retreat. The word was spoken lightly, but the moment the word left his lips, Di Nuo felt a buzzing numbness spread across his mind. In the next instant, it was like he had been sent flying across the air by an invisible force. Crash! Di Nuo landed heavily on the platform. Meanwhile, Yi Qing remained standing there, completely unharmed. Apart from his lips, he had not moved a single inch of his body. What happened? Everyone was stupefied by what they had just witnessed. Di Nuo had made his move. Shouldn't Yi Qing have been killed within seconds? Why was Di Nuo the one who was sent flying instead? Qin Feng and the others were also dumbstruck. They were all prepared to rush up and had already taken one step forward before they all halted in their tracks. What happened? How did Di Nuo end up flying through the air? Collapsed on the ground, Di Nuo felt like he was being completely covered by an invisible force. Shock flashed across his eyes. He had no idea what happened. Get up! Yi Qing's voice rang out again. Following that calm voice, Di Nuo was suddenly lifted into the air by that invisible force. It was spine-chillingly strange. Damn, could there be a ghost? Someone exclaimed. Just as the crowd was feeling very befuddled, Yi Qing crossed his hands behind his back and strolled over to where Di Nuo was being suspended mid-air. Chapter 2346. Swollen Face 3. It was like there were invisible steps below his feet. Yi Qing seemed to ascend, stepping on empty air until she gradually came face to face with Di Nuo. Yi Qing, what kind of trickery are you using? Di Nuo was panicking. His body was not obeying him at all. He wanted to move, but somehow he just couldn't. Yi Qing looked mildly at Di Nuo. Haven't you always wished to know why Lei Yin and the others are so loyal to me? The youth spoke casually. Di Nuo was taken aback. Yi Qing suddenly snapped her fingers. In the next second, a tremendously powerful force surged out from his body. The faint moonlight shone upon him, as if he was being engulfed in a glowing layer. Di Nuo was instantly stunned by that elite aura. He widened his eyes in disbelief. They were nearly popping out of their sockets. What kind of terrifying power was this? He could hardly breathe. Divine Lord. 5th heaven level. Di Nuo's heart nearly leaped out of his eyes. Even in his dreams, he would never suspect that this useless Paragon 6th heaven level piece of trash was actually a Divine Lord 5th heaven level practitioner. Divine Lord 5th heaven level. Faced with this kind of cultivation level, Di Nuo was like a piece of garbage, completely defenseless. And he was not the only one. Everyone at present was dazed when Yi Qing displayed his powers. Completely, utterly dazed, Divine Divine Lord, 5th heaven level? One of the students said in a trembling voice. He was trembling partially from the shock of the discovery, but mostly because of the aura unleashed by Yi Qing. It was beyond terrifying. Who told me teacher Yi is just a paragon 6th heaven level? Let me beat him up. No wonder. He could bring Qin Feng and the others to the Divine Lord stage within such a short period of time. So, he is actually so powerful. No one expected Yi Qing to be hiding such a big secret. To think that he was a Divine Lord 5th heaven level. Why didn't he just say so earlier? Hang Wenwei was utterly dumbstruck. He pinched Gong Jinyun on the thigh. He pinched so hard that Gong Jinyun cried out in pain. What are you doing? Hang Wenwei asked, does it hurt? Of course. Hang Wenwei sighed. So, this is not a dream. Gong Jinyun, was it a serious crime to kill one's schoolmate? Yin Shun was also somewhat bewildered. Meanwhile, Lei Yin had snapped out of his trance and punched Yin Shun on the shoulder. Damn, and I wondered why you dare to let boss go on that platform. So you already knew. Brother, how can you keep such a secret from us? We're nearly dying from anxiety. If I knew boss was so formidable, I would have urged him to go beat up Di Nuo and not wasted any time. Lei Yin wiped cold sweat off his brow. He had nearly died from fright. Yin Chun, he hadn't known. He really hadn't known. He had previously suspected Yi Qing was some secret powerful practitioner, but even he had never expected for him to be a Divine Lord 5th heaven level. He had theorized that Yi Qing was probably some highly skilled alchemist and knew some good martial arts moves. And so he believed that he might be able to hold his own against Di Nuo. But he had really underestimated his boss. Suspended in midair, Di Nuo was shivering in fright. So much so that he felt his body was about to shatter. With widened eyes, he looked at Yi Qing as if she was a monster. Chapter 2347. Next one. At this moment, Di Nuo felt like he was just one big joke. He had always believed that Yi Qing was the disgrace of the Netherworld Academy. Now, all his past actions had come back to slap him in the face. A Divine Lord 5th heaven level practitioner was useless? Then what was he? Humiliation engulfed his heart as he stared anxiously at Yi Qing. His eyes no longer held his usual imperious arrogance. In front of Yi Qingtang, Di Nuo was completely defenseless. The suppression of Yi Qing's high cultivation level turned him into a lamb ready for slaughter. But Yi Qingtang was not interested in wasting any more time with Di Nuo. She lifted her hand and gave a gentle flick of her fingers. In the next second, Di Nuo dropped down from midair. His body crashed down onto the platform, creating a massive crater. Silence descended the entire arena. Everyone was stunned by this one-sided match. Below the stage, those teachers who were watching the match were also dazed. Zhu Ning had widened his eyes in shock. Due to yesterday's incident and Di Nuo's declaration, all the teachers at present knew that Yi Qing was only a paragon 6th heaven level. They thought that Yi Qing was just putting up a useless final struggle when he challenged Di Nuo. But now, Yi Qing had not even executed any technique. Just a flick of his finger had Di Nuo completely suppressed. The difference in power was terrifying. Divine Lord 5th heaven level, what's wrong with Di Nuo? Why did he claim that Yi Qing was only at the paragon 6th heaven level? One of the teachers asked in a daze. No wonder Yi Qing did not appear fearful of Di Nuo at all, and even dared to challenge him head-on. No wonder. Di Nuo probably never expected to face such a powerful practitioner. Apart from being shocked, many teachers also sighed at Di Nuo's mistake. Yi Qing's powers far surpassed Di Nuo's. If he wanted to conceal his cultivation level, there was no way Di Nuo would know. This kind of person is a disgrace to the Netherworld Academy? The president would be elated if he knew this. Quite a number of teachers were quietly shaking their heads. How is Yi Qing a useless piece of trash? It was apparent that he was a powerful practitioner who preferred to keep a low profile. The other teachers instinctively turned to look at Zhu Ning. Zhu Ning had a rather strange expression. No one could decipher how he must be feeling now. So it was false that Yi Qing was only a paragon 6th heaven level. It turned out he was a true blue divine, Lord 5th heaven level. And he was still so young. With his current abilities, it was not that unbelievable that he could produce a few divine Lord level students. So what about alchemy? No one had forgotten that Yi Qing had also challenged Juning. Dinua had already been carried out of the crater. He was now unconscious and covered in blood and looked like a corpse. Did that mean Juning would have to face Yi Qing now? Yi Qing, he is a martial arts genius. But he can't possibly also be better than Juning at alchemy, right? One of the teachers mused. Everyone also believed that was the case, but after witnessing Yi Qing's power display, they could not help feeling rather faint. Yi Qing strolled off the platform. The surrounding students were already dumbstruck, and countless eyes were now focused on Yi Qing. Chapter 2348. Next, too, boss. You're so formidable. Lei Yin was the first to recover from his shock. Leaping ecstatically into the air, he nearly jumped onto the platform to raise his boss onto his shoulders. What was the definition of awesome? Their boss was the definition of awesome. Dinua was only at what cultivation level, and he was already strutting around all day, thinking so highly of himself. Look at their boss. So low profile and humble. This was how a truly powerful practitioner should behave. By this stage, Qin Feng and the others had also recovered from their shock. They gazed at Yi Qing with sparkling eyes. An undisguised look of admiration and worship filled the eyes of Nangong Lai and the others. I am feeling rather faint now. I say, brother, this is truly a massive stroke of luck for us. Hang Wenwei still looked a little shaken. He placed one hand on Gong Jinyan's shoulder. This was just too exciting. He never expected that he had actually stumbled upon a divine Lord 5th heaven level teacher. Damn, he would have to give offerings at the temple tomorrow to show his gratitude. Gong Jinyan and Xiao Nin were still in shock. But Hang Wenwei's words echoed their own thoughts. This was really a major stroke of luck for them. Compared to the joy of those brats, the other medicine faculty students looked rather conflicted. They had been very stunned, but managed to recompose themselves, only to realize that Yi Qing's students had been even more astonished. Still pretending. How could they possibly not know the standard of their own teacher? Yi Qingtang didn't waste any time. She shot Lei Yin and the others a look to calm down, before turning to Juning. Next, Yi Qing did not ask to rest before continuing the next challenge. The crowd was electrified. Nevertheless, there was quite a number who felt that, as powerful as Yi Qing was, could he really also be that good at alchemy? But wasn't he only a few years older than them? I don't believe that Yi Qing's alchemy skills can surpass Teacher Zhu's. If he can win, I will eat this whole platform. Well, the medicine faculty students was very sure. The match between Di Nua and Yi Qing had been between two martial arts teachers. The medicine faculty students only watched it for entertainment purposes. But Juning was the backbone of their medicine faculty. They didn't believe Yi Qing would defeat Juning. Meanwhile, Lei Yin and the others were much calmer. They stared at the medicine faculty student who claimed that he would eat the whole platform with a "you were just asking for it" look. Elixir refining skills? Their boss feared no one in this aspect. As everyone watched, Juning walked over. He looked at Yi Qing with a complicated expression. How do you wish to compete? Juning asked. He acknowledged that Yi Qing was indeed powerful, but now they were competing in elixir refinement, which had nothing to do with cultivation level. Even if he was facing an emperor-level practitioner, Juning would not lose in the field of alchemy. Yi Qing simply replied, "You can choose." Damn, so pompous. Yi Qing's words incited the medicine faculty students. Arrogant. Too arrogant. Juning didn't expect Yi Qing to be so audacious, and he gave a slight frown before continuing. In that case, shall we compete on the green asteroid elixir? All the medicine faculty students gasped. Lei Yin and the others had not heard of this elixir before. Unabashed, they asked, "Yin Shun, what is this green asteroid elixir?" Is it very formidable? Yunshin replied, "It's a master-level elixir." Lei Yin, "Well, excuse me. This was an elixir which he could never afford." Chapter 2349. Next, 3. This kind of master-level elixir was very rare. In the first place, there were few master-level alchemists in the entire second domain. On top of that, they were all under the various factions, and their elixirs never entered the public market. Since Zhu Ning had chosen a master-level elixir, it was clear he was serious. I say, isn't Teacher Zhu a bit too merciless? He wants to compete on a master-level elixir? Gong Jinyan frowned slightly. He felt that this was not fair to Yi Qing. Meanwhile, the medicine faculty students retorted, "This competition is about refining elixirs, right? What? You want our teacher, Zhu, to go easy? Compete on an elementary level elixir? What a joke. Don't make bold claims if you don't have the ability to back it up. Don't think that just because your cultivation level is high that you can refine elixirs. Those are two entirely separate matters." Just as the crowd continued their discussion, Yi Qingtang agreed to the terms. All the ingredients were delivered by the other medicine faculty teachers, and each person received a set. There was only one chance to refine. The first sign of failure would mean defeat. Those in the medicine faculty could not hide their anticipation. It was not often they got to see Zhu Ning refine elixirs. They couldn't even be bothered to look at Yi Qing. Instead, they all focused on Zhu Ning. Zhu Ning's knowledge of herbs far surpassed that of Song Yanhan. His preparation of the ingredients was so precise that all the students sighed in admiration at the sight. It was a pleasure to watch. Lei Yin didn't know anything about elixir refinement, so he had to ask Yinshin, "Tell me, who is more highly skilled, our boss or Zhu Ning?" Yinshin replied without any hesitation, "Our boss, of course." "That's right." Lei Yin chuckled. He loved hearing others praise his boss. Their conversation attracted the attention of several other medicine faculty students. They stared at those two like they were looking at two fools. Yi Qing was better than Zhu Ning? Dream on. At this moment, even the other medicine faculty teachers were all carefully observing Zhu Ning's elixir refinement process. They could not detect any flaw in his movements. Everything was perfect, even the teachers were benefiting a lot from watching. Every time I watch Teacher Zhu refine elixirs, I get a sense of desolation. I wonder when I will ever reach his standard. One of the teachers lamented. I'm afraid that both you and I will never reach his standard in this lifetime. Look, just as the teachers were admiring Zhu Ning, they suddenly saw a flame light up in Yi Qing's hand. It was the same as Yun Chen's earlier display. But Yi Qing's flame was black. What? The teachers were all shocked. They never expected Yi Qing to know the palm flame technique as well. Could it be that he was really the one who taught Yun Chen the technique? Yi Qing was focused on the herbs in her hands and looked like he was completely immersed in her own world. Zhu Ning, who had just placed his ingredients into his tripod, also noticed what Yi Qing was doing. He was stunned by the sight. As that black flame refined those herbs, a medicinal aroma wafted over in waves. Shock flashed across Zhu Ning's eyes. He knew that he should be focusing on his own elixir refinement. But after watching Yi Qing's process, he appeared unable to carry on. Chapter 2350. Intoxicated. 1. Layman watched for entertainment, while the experts watched for the skill. With Zhu Ning's skill level, it was natural for him to better understand what he was seeing. And because of that, Zhu Ning's heart gave a heavy jolt when he saw Yi Qing place his prepped ingredients into the flame in his palm. Those ingredients had been prepped as well as his, perhaps with even more precision. Zhu Ning's face instantly paled. He had not believed that Yi Qing knew how to refine elixirs too. But now that he was seeing the process with his own eyes, he finally realized how laughable his earlier thinking had been. Just by the youth's movements, Zhu Ning could confirm that Yi Qing knew very well how to refine the green asteroid elixir. In fact, he might be even more familiar with it than him. The green asteroid elixir was a master-level elixir. Without a certain level of skill, one would not be able to refine it even if one knew the recipe. But Zhu Ning watched as Yi Qing placed the final ingredient into his palm. He suddenly closed his eyes and took a deep breath. In the next second, Zhu Ning extinguished the fire on his own tripod. The crowd was stunned when they saw Zhu Ning extinguish the fire in his tripod. What's the matter with Teacher Zhu? Why is he stopping? What is going on? Everyone was dumbfounded. Things have been going on very well. Why did Zhu Ning suddenly stop? Teacher Zhu? What's the matter? The other medicine faculty teachers were also confused. They thought something must have happened to Zhu Ning, and they all went up to him. Zhu Ning waved them off, but didn't say anything and only continued to watch Yi Qing, who was focused on refining his elixir. The arrogance in his eyes had faded away as he concentrated on watching him. How long had it been since he was like this, completely engrossed in watching the process of someone else refine elixirs? He could no longer remember. At this moment, he appeared absorbed, not at all like the master-level alchemist he was. He was more like a medicine faculty student, watching Yi Qing's movements intently, as if he was very worried about missing any single detail. Even when those teachers tried to continue their queries, Zhu Ning interrupted them to stop them from bothering him. The medicine faculty students were dazed. They did not understand why Zhu Ning was behaving in this manner. Previously, they did not pay much attention to what Yi Qing was doing. But now that Zhu Ning was watching so closely, they instinctively turned to look. And with that one look, they were completely shocked. The situation on the platform had become very strange. Zhu Ning had extinguished his tripod fire and was watching Yi Qing intently. And the eyes of those medicine faculty teachers were now glowing as they also watched Yi Qing. All the other students were befuddled. What was going on? Wasn't there a competition going on? Why had all the teachers gone into a trance? Damn, they're secretly spying on our boss technique. Lei Yin muttered. He could not understand what boss was doing. But observing the faces of those old men, it was clear they were secretly studying his boss techniques. Lei Yin wanted to object, but Yin Chen put his hand over his mouth. Don't say a word. Yin Chen's eyes never left Yi Qing. Now, he did not wish to hear any noise either. All he wanted was to memorize every single one of Yi Qing's movements. Lei Yin, if Yin Chen didn't let go, he would soon suffocate to death. A strange atmosphere descended over the medicine faculty arena. By the time Ranimo hurried over with Wu Fengling, they were greeted by this strange sight. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.